Okay, good morning, everyone. How are we doing? So we've got a few people on here already. This is great. I don't need to wait for people to join. Give us a like and a love and say hello if you are joining me. I cannot see who's with us. I want to say hello. I want to say good morning or good evening, depending on where you're from. Give us a like and a love. That'll also help people find the live because I know that sometimes it can be a little bit tricky for people to find. So, who's with us? Say good day. I see Janine. Hello, Janine. Thank you for joining. Alrighty, folks. Thank you for joining again. As most of you know, today I'm going to be talking about, I guess, feeling stuck on this plant-based journey, why you are still trying, why you're still sitting in this energy of trying and don't really feel like you're doing it yet, and how to start getting into doing mode instead. Right. Now, as most of you know, hi, William. See William. Hi, Kathy. And Melissa. Good to have you. Thank you for joining. So, as most of you have seen, just recently, I am launching a new 12-week plant power transition program after Easter. Now, this is a brand new program to what I'm actually doing. And the whole idea is that it is to help you get out of that trying phase and really step into that doing phase, but also do it in a way that feels simple, that feels doable, that feels easy, right? But all the while being all that support, that accountability, and a whole heap of other tools that'll help you stay on track, like even when life happens, even when all those tricky situations and in the social life and the family situations, food situations, even when they arise, because that is a lot of what throws people off track as well, like learning how to navigate those situations. So the whole reason I decided to create that program, if you don't know me at the moment, I'm more of a weight loss coach in the plant-based space. But the whole reason I decided to create this transition program is because of the conversations I've had with people. I see a lot of people really struggling to step into this lifestyle. I see people like flipping backwards and forwards. I'm on, I'm off, I'm on, I'm off, I'm on, I'm off. I see a lot of people even nervous about starting. It's like, how do I even start? Where do I start? I'm frozen. I just can't seem to take any action. Or, you might try for a few weeks and you're really motivated in that early phase, like week one, yep, smashing it, feeling really good. 3 weeks later, falling off the wagon, life. How many times does life happen and it throws us off track, right? But then it sometimes takes us months, weeks, months, years to get back on track. And all the while, all of that time while we're flip-flopping backwards and forwards, we're not committing. All that time we're holding ourselves back from even starting, all that time that we're falling off the not just getting back on, all of that time we're doing more and more and more and more damage to our body, right? And we're also proving in our brain, we're telling our brain, it's like really proving to our brain that this is hard. And when our brain feels like something's going to be hard, it then makes it 100 times harder to even attempt to make that change again. Right? I've spoken to countless people who are in these sorts of situations and who are stuck, let alone my own, weight loss coaching clients who I coach through situations like this all the time. And I feel like I've discovered a few of the secrets that are really keeping people stuck. And I can see in a lot of patterns now. And when I speak to you, I can see what's ticking around in your brain, because my friends, it's not anything out there in the world that is keeping you stuck. It's what's going on in here that is keeping you stuck, right? So I'm going to introduce you to a couple of different tools today that I use with my weight loss clients to help them get unstuck, help them to continue to move forward in their goals, even when they're feeling stuck. All right. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. First of all, I'm going to be talking about a tool that I've learned through Brooke Castillo, who is the founder and the CEO of the Life Coach School. This is what she calls the model. It's her, I guess, self-coaching model. So I don't even really know how to explain this model, but it's just kind of how things work. It's like how the world works. And it's really, really simple. You can assess anything in your life using this tool, and you can find out where you're getting stuck, what's going wrong, and you can use it in order to shift the results that you're getting in your life, basically. It's really, really powerful. Now, I'm not going to necessarily teach you how to use that tool as such, right? But I'm just going to demonstrate to you how to look at this, how to look at what's going on in your life through the lens of this tool, so that you can see what's going on, where you're getting stuck. The second tool I'm going to talk to you about is the motivational triad. Now, if you attended my 5-day Bust Sugar Urges training last year, you will have heard me talk about that model, or that tool rather, in that training last year. So the motivational triad essentially is our innate guidance system that guides all living conscious beings, including our human beings, including all of the creatures on the planet. I'll talk you through these so that you have a high level understanding of what's going on. I don't need you to understand them fully, but I just need you to understand them in relation to where you're getting stuck, and that these can help in terms of assessing what's going on in your mind, in your brain, that is actually keeping. All right, so I use both of these tools to really dig in and see what's going on for people, and to really help them see why they're stuck, and help turn that around. That's what we as coaches do. We get inside your brain. All right. Are you drinking your water, folks? Stay hydrated. It'll help your brain function. Okay. All right, so first of all, we're going to talk about this model, this self-coaching model. There are 5 things in life. Yeah, only 5. And I'll walk you through them, and I'll give you a brief overview of how this works. First of all, and if you want to, if you are watching with pen and paper, grab a pen, grab some paper, and I want you to write this down. On lines going down the page, right, I want you to first write the letter C. That's on the first line. Then on the second line, I want you to write a T. T for Thomas. C for cat. T for Thomas. Next line, and F for Freddie. Next line down is A for A-OK. All stars. And then the next line down is R. R for ready. Ready to rock, ready to roll. All right. So first of all, the C line. The C line represents the circumstances in our life, the circumstances in our world, and these are the facts of our life. Now, there are certain things that we think are facts in our life that are actually not facts. They're just our thoughts, our perceptions of the facts. So our circumstances are things like what might be going on in the world in the moment. Ukraine, there's some trouble going on. That I won't even use the word trouble. That's a perception. There is an event happening in Ukraine at the moment. Okay, COVID. That's a circumstance. What else is a circumstance? A circumstance might be that you have a family. You have a husband, you have kids, or you have a wife, you may have a partner, whatever your circumstance is with regards to your close relationships. You have friends, right? Circumstances. Circumstances are the events of the world. Circumstances are other people in your life. Circumstances might be the job that you have. You have a job. You have a business, right? It is the fact. It is something that could be proven in a court of law, right? So there are no descriptive words used with regards to the circumstance. Any descriptive words are thoughts, okay? Which brings me to the next line. The next line is the T line, and that is our thoughts. Our thoughts, there's a lot of thoughts that go on in our mind. And you'll understand this soon. Just stay with me here. We have around 60,000 thoughts a day, okay? We have a lot of thoughts about a lot of things. We have a lot of thoughts about the circumstances in our lives. We're having thoughts about COVID. We're having thoughts about Ukraine. We're having thoughts about our friends and our families. We're having thoughts about our jobs and our businesses. We're having thoughts about our lives. We're having thoughts about our capabilities. We're having thoughts that keep us stuck. We're having thoughts that propel us forward. Our thoughts are judgmental. Our beliefs are thoughts. Our judgments are thoughts. Our perceptions of what is going on in the world are our thoughts. All right? Oftentimes we will think a circumstance in our life. Oftentimes we will think our circumstances in life are what keeping us stuck, but no, it's our thoughts about the circumstances. And stay with me here. All right, so we have a lot of thoughts. There are a lot of thoughts rolling around in our brain, and guess what? Most of them are unconscious, unchecked thoughts. They are thoughts that we have been thinking our whole life. Some of these thoughts are our own beliefs about who we are and what we are capable of. They feel true. They feel very true. And you know why? Because we've been thinking them for a very, 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 very long time, and we've not challenged them. All right. So that's our thoughts. Our thoughts about whatever's going on in our life, our thoughts about our circumstances, our thoughts about ourselves, our thought about our friends and our families and our co-workers and our working environment, and our thoughts about everything determine how we feel. And that's the next line down, our feelings, our emotions. Not our physical sensations, right? Not the goosebumps on our arms or the heart beating fast in our chest. And they're not those, they're more sensations in the body. I'm talking about your emotions, how you feel about something. An emotion is something that starts in the brain and travels to the body. Whereas a sensation is something that happens in the body first and then travels to the brain. The brain has a thought about the sensation. All right, so your feelings, how you think determines how you feel. All right? It can make you feel great, or it can make you feel shitty. We have positive and we have negative emotions. And those positive and negative emotions all come from how we're thinking about something, right? So our thoughts determine our feelings. Our feelings, how we feel, our emotions, drive the actions that we take in life. That's the A line, action. So we can be taking positive action towards our goals. We can be taking action that it goes against our goals. Or we can be sitting in inaction and not doing anything, right? We can be stuck. Our actions obviously deliver the results that we get, and R is the next line, the results. So I'm writing this down. So can you see how that works? Our circumstances, we have circumstances which are the truth and the facts in our life, and they're the things that could be presented in a court of law, right? Then we have a lot of thoughts about the circumstances in our life. Our thoughts determine how we feel. We can feel good about something, we can feel bad about something. If we're feeling good about something, we'll take a different set of action versus if we're feeling bad about something. And I'll describe that in a moment. Then the action that we're taking delivers the result that we get. Maybe wants to come and say hello. Come on, darling. Come and say hello to everyone. Okay, so if we think about this way, we are having a lot of thoughts about the possibility of transitioning to a plant-based diet. We will be having a lot of thoughts. And a lot of time we think it's our circumstances in our life that are preventing us from taking action. But if you can see here, circumstance does not lead to action. No, we have the thoughts, the feelings first. It's our thoughts and our feelings that drive the action that we take. So, as an example, I see people who get stuck by saying, but my family, my family don't want to be plant-based, so I can't take action. So I can't, this is too hard. Too hard, I'm not going to do it. So essentially the thoughts about the family are the circumstance. I have a partner, I have children, right? My thoughts about it are, or their thoughts about transitioning are, they don't want to transition. Your thoughts about that, about their thoughts about not transitioning, this is going to be hard. This is going to be painful. So when we have thoughts that are painful, we tend to not take action. We sit in inaction. So we don't take action. Our action line is like inaction, basically. And then we don't get the results that we want. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. All right, so it's not the circumstance. It's not the fact that you have a family that's keeping you stuck. It's your thoughts about your family. It's the thoughts about your family not wanting to transition that are stopping you from taking action, because it makes you feel in pain somehow. That feels hard to you. Your emotion is hard, feels painful in some way to you. Painful emotions do not propel us forward. Well, sometimes they do. We'll get to that. All right. I also see people say, what's some other ones? I'm too busy. I'm too busy. Work is too busy. Hang on. I'm just going to go back to the family one for a moment. I'm just going to pose a little bit of help you shift your mindset around this. When you say that I can't transition because my family don't want to, you're kind of blaming your family for staying stuck. That's a lot of responsibility to put on your family for you to achieve your results. How do your family feel about being blamed for you staying stuck? How do your family, it's not, when you think about it from that perspective, it's like, oh, I guess that's right? I'm blaming somebody else. I'm making them responsible for me not achieving my goals. I wonder how they feel about it. Think about that for a moment. Okay, moving on to another example. Some people say, I'm just too busy. My work is crazy busy. I've got too much going on in life at the moment. So again, assume making an assumption that the circumstance in your life, work, or whatever other circumstances you have going on in your life, responsible for you not taking action, sitting in action. No, it's your thoughts about what is going on in your life at the moment. And those thoughts in some way, again, lead to you feeling some sense of pain towards making a change in your life, therefore driving a lack of inaction. Right? It's not the circumstance itself, it's your thoughts about it. Right. And when we have painful thoughts, we tend to not want to take action, but it depends on where we are associating pain. And that is what is going to lead me on to talking about the next tool that I use with clients. And the next tool is the motivational triad. Now, this is the innate guidance system that drives all living, conscious creatures on this planet, right? The only thing it doesn't drive is plants. I think, when we think about living, so my cat, Cougar here, she She has a motivational triad working for her. The birds singing in the trees, they are guided by the motivational triad. The ants that you see creeping up the wall in your kitchen, they are being driven by the motivational triad. So this motivational triad is just, this is how all of us creatures on the planet are still here living. And it's because the guidance system goes like this. We seek pleasure in life. That is one arm of the motivational triad. If you think about a triad, think of a triangle. There are three things. The first is pleasure. We are always seeking pleasure, whether that's physical pleasure, whether that's emotional pleasure. To our brain, our very prehistoric brain, right? There's two parts of our brain, which I'll talk about shortly, but to the most part of our brain, pleasure means we are doing something that is good for us and good for our survival. When we eat food that tastes good, our brain goes, oh, that's good. Yes, we'll have more of that. That must be good for our survival. When we do things in life that are pleasurable, like spending time with friends and family, sitting by a nice warm fire, in winter especially, maybe not in summer. The things that we do in life that are pleasurable, our brain associates with survival. It's good for us. It's going to help us get to procreation. Procreation feels good, but right, we wouldn't be here if it didn't. It leads us to procreate. It leads us to reproduce our genes, and the species gets to survive. All right. So pleasure seeking is inbuilt in all of us. We are also built. The other arm is to avoid pain, whether that's physical pain, whether that's emotional pain. Physical pain tells our body that something is not right. Right? Back in prehistoric days, if we, broken ankles, say, the pain in the ankle sends a sensation to the brain to say, stop moving. I need to heal. Right? Physical pain sends an alert to the brain. The brain goes, we need to stop. Something needs to be fixed. We need to stop doing that activity. If you break your ankle and keep walking on it, the brain's sending you an alert to stop walking on it because it needs to heal. Walking is not good for that ankle. Stop. Right? So that's why physical pain is a sensation from the brain telling you to stop doing what you're doing, that it's not good for you. Emotional pain. Emotional pain is an alert that something within our life needs our attention. If we're upset, if we're anxious, if we're scared, it's a warning from our brain that something is potentially dangerous to us, and we need to fix that. We need to go and solve that. It's just an alert, all right? Many of us are buffering our emotional pain, by the way, which is probably another program that I will build around how do we stop buffering our pain with food. This is a big one I talk about with my weight loss clients too, about how we feel our emotions and understand what our emotions need in order to fix the emotion, fix the real problem rather than buffering it away with food, okay? So, the motivational triad, getting back to that though, we're always seeking pleasure, we're always avoiding pain. And the third arm of that motivational triad is conserving energy. So we're looking for whatever's going to be the easiest, quickest, simplest way to deliver pleasure and get away from pain. All right. So how does this work together with the self-coaching model? Well, if you think about our thoughts that we're having, that we're having about our transition, and then our brain associating pain with something that is bad for us. If you think about your transition in a way that feels painful to you, right? It's going to be hard. It's painful. I don't know if I can do this. I'm going to be all alone. People are going to reject me. I'm not going to be able to eat all the foods. if you think about your transition in a way that brings up pain in some way for you, your motivational triad says don't do it then. Pain equals not good for survival. Right? So you can see why you're not taking action. Your thoughts about it, the stories that you're telling yourself about your transition, and they're just stories, by the way, they're just thoughts, they're not necessarily the truth. It's bringing up these emotions that feel hard, so painful thoughts and painful emotions, and leading to your brain saying, I shouldn't take action. I should stay where I am, because if I conserve energy, I don't have to do anything, and that feels better. I don't have to put myself through that pain that is all imagined and in my head, actually. That's why you're getting stuck, right? Now, what you keep telling yourself over and over and over and over, these stories that you might have about your transition, they might feel very true to you. And they feel like they just start to become part of what you actually believe, because you tell yourself this over and over and over. And then what the brain does, here's another way our brain works. We have what's called a reticular activation system. And if you haven't heard of that before, it's where your brain, there's so much data out there in the world now that your brain simply cannot take it all in and process it and have thoughts about all of it. So what it does is it looks at your current beliefs, your current, experience of life in the world so far, and it filters out anything that doesn't align with that. So if you've told yourself time and time again that I can't transition, I can't let these foods go, this is going to be hard, I'm going to miss out on all my favorite foods, my friends and family are going to reject me. If you've told yourself these stories over and over and over and over, guess what? Your brain filters out anything that doesn't align with that, and it shows you everything to support that view. It's crazy. The brain is crazy. It's amazing, but it's crazy. And apparently, just to give you an example, I was listening to a podcast this morning where they actually, the woman hosting the podcast, it was on a different topic, but she was talking about the reticular activation system, and she talked about her son who's autistic, and she said his reticular activation system, being autistic, doesn't function properly. So if you're a normal, if you've got a normal brain, your reticular activation system is working perfectly. It's filtering in things, it's filtering out things to support your beliefs. So her son's RAS doesn't work properly. So and that's why he has sensory overload. Like there's so much information coming in that he just cannot process it all. That's why autistic people get this sensory overload and they just can't cope. This is why they have to move themselves away and kind of be on their own, because it's just too much to take in. So that made really a lot of sense to me this morning. So another example for you, imagine a time where you wanted to buy something, and often the example that is used is a car. Say you want to buy, exactly the model, make, the color, whether it's 2-door, 4-door, 5-door, whatever it is. Like, everything about it. You're dreaming about it, what the seats are made of, what tires you're going to get. You're dreaming about it. Suddenly you see that damn car on the road everywhere, right? Because it's in your conscious awareness. And so your brain is filtering in everything else that looks like it. You're suddenly seeing everywhere, whereas previously, because it didn't matter to you, you weren't focused on the car, it didn't matter to you, you didn't see it anywhere. You thought you were buying something unique, right? Suddenly everyone's got one. So that's the reticular activation system for you. So if you've told yourself enough times that this transition is going to be hard, that your environment is not set up to support you, that the people in your life won't support you, that you miss out on a whole heap of foods that you really, really enjoy, and then the plant-based eating is going to be really bland and boring, and you've told yourself these stories, these painful stories over and over and over. Your brain's filtering out anything else that doesn't align with that belief, and it filters in everything that does. And because you feel like you're in pain, you don't take action. All right? I'll give you an example of my time trying to transition, at least first to vegan from vegetarian. I initially, my story I told myself was I was worried about backlash from people I knew, like being thought of as, like being bullied and teased for being vegan because, at the time there weren't too many nice views of vegans. There were certain words said about them and that I won't repeat. I certainly didn't think this myself, but and the descriptions weren't very nice, and there was a lot of bullying going around, and probably my brain was filtering in the bullying because it was something I was thinking about. But me, I didn't want to put myself through that. I didn't want to be bullied, right? So I was putting more weight into other people's thoughts about me potentially than my own thoughts about me. I was also focused on meals that I could no longer make, which again felt painful. I used to make this delicious, but not very healthy, ricotta gnocchi with burnt butter and sage sauce, and pine nuts, and it had lots of greens on top as well. It was delicious, but I was focusing on the foods that I would no longer be able to make. So one, I was worried about being ostracized and bullied by not my close friends, of course, but other people around me. I was also highly focused on foods that I wasn't going to be able to eat, which to me was painful. So I was associating pain with this transition, and it stopped me taking action. So my brain said, well, don't do it then. Why would you put yourself in that pain? You don't want to do that. You don't want to be picked on. You don't want to be teased. I spent my early childhood being bullied. I didn't want to go back to being bullied, but it didn't feel nice, right? So I was keeping myself safe, keeping myself in a space of comfort by not taking action, right? But then I experienced a very different sort of pain, right? A sort of pain that is far greater than anyone else's opinion of me, far greater than any pain of changing what I was going to be eating, right? A pain that was so great that it motivated me to take change because it was the pain of staying still. I was diagnosed with skin cancer. So to me, the pain of staying still, staying with my current diet and not transitioning was now more painful than a little bit of, inconvenient pain with some bullies who I didn't even really care about, and changing some food that really wasn't that healthy anyway, shifted my perception of what's going on. I didn't want to put myself at risk of this skin cancer coming back. And when skin cancer comes back, it's nasty. Thankfully, 4 years on, I'm okay. So the pain, suddenly my pain and pleasure perceptions shifted. It was more painful to stay stuck than it was to move. So I moved, right? This is how that motivational triad works. That's how it works within us for us to take action or not. So I made that change. I made that change to vegan, which eventually led to whole food plant-based. So I don't want you to stay stuck where you are right now. You are obviously feeling some sense of pain in your life, in your health, in your body, in your weight. In some way, you're feeling some sense of pain, but that pain is not far greater than your pain of moving. So we've got to flip that around. We've got to see the pain in staying stuck as far greater than a bit of inconvenience and a little bit of being hard in the early days moving. That's how we get you into doing mode. So that's what we're going to work on next, how to get you out of this trying mode and get you actually into doing, into action. Stop sitting in this place of indecision. You actually have two different parts of your brain going on here, which I'll explain about. in a moment. But to start with, you want to take that self-coaching model, that CTFAR model, and you want to plug in what's going on for you. If your A line at the moment is in action, you are not taking action, you want to listen to your brain and find out what the thoughts are that are preventing you from taking that action. What's the story that you're telling yourself, right? And a quick way to find that is just to go, right, we're transitioning tomorrow, and sit back and listen to what your brain says. Listen to all the stories and all the excuses that come up from your brain as you try to take that action. Classics are, it's not the right time, I can't do it yet, no, life's too busy, the family aren't on board, what people are going to say, I'm going to miss out, I won't be able to eat all the foods, I don't know what I'm doing. Just listen to what's coming up for you. What are the reasons coming up for you? It's your brain. Only you know what's going on in there. But in there is some painful thought, some painful story that is preventing you from taking action. These stories may feel very, very, very true to you, but I challenge you, they're just your thoughts. They're just your perceptions of reality, right? And if they're making your transition feel painful, then they're stopping you from taking the action that you actually want to take. Your reticular activation system is in full swing, and it's only giving you one side of the actual truth that is available to you. That this is going to be hard and this is going to be painful. And your motivational triad is saying, don't do it then. Don't take that action. It's going to mean you die. It's potentially not good for you. And when these thoughts come up, these are just automatic thoughts, all right? These are, remember I said we have 60,000 thoughts in a day. These are just the unconscious thoughts that your brain is offering you. Just throwing up stuff to stop you from taking action. Why? Why does the brain do that? Well, one, it's associating pain with the change. Therefore, it thinks that this is not going to be good for your survival. It's not logic. This is not, okay, this is how we know it's the unconscious brain talking here, because its argument is logical. It's saying this is going to kill you. Hang on, logically we know different, right? We've got two different parts of our brain. Two different parts of our brain. And we've got a very unconscious part of our brain. This is the part of the brain, its responsibility is to keep you alive, keep you safe. It operates all of the internal functions in the body, the stuff that you don't consciously control, right? Your lungs, your heart, all of your organs, all of that sort of stuff, even just moving your arms and your legs like this, even just moving your mouth like that. You do not consciously move your mouth, it moves, right? You consciously are thinking of the words you want to say. You don't think about how you want to move your mouth, do you? The unconscious part of your brain runs all of that stuff. It also runs all of your habits. Your habits, the things you do on repeat. 95% of what goes on in your brain is run by that unconscious part of your brain. Why? Because it's very, very efficient. It does not burn much energy. And look at that motivational triad. Part of it is conserving energy. As much of the brain's work wants to go back to that unconscious brain, habits. And that part of your brain hates change. Why? It hates change because change it fears change because that part of the brain knows that you are alive and you are safe at the moment. It does not like you changing anything because it means certain death. Think of a program. It's the program in the back of your mind going, I know how to run all these programs. I know how to operate all these things. When we get into this situation, I know how to handle it here. This is what we do. When we get in that situation, we handle it this way. If you start changing that, your brain freaks out and goes, oh, I don't know how to run this. You're going to die. So your brain is trying to keep you stuck as well. It's trying to keep you stuck by throwing up a whole heap of painful thoughts at you to keep you safe. But here's this, the conscious you. And this is the prefrontal cortex, the smart human version of you. This is the part of our brain that separates us from the rest of the animal kingdom. So they don't have this part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex. This is the conscious part of the brain. This is the part of the brain that dreams of your goals and your future and a life that you could be living, the body that you could be living in, the health that you could have. This is the part of you that watches the documentaries, that reads the books. This is the part of you that wants to make the change. It's getting frustrated with you right now. It's getting frustrated with the unconscious brain, with you for listening to the unconscious brain. And you have this war going on. I want to make the change, but I can't. I want to make the change, but it's so frustrating, it's hard and it's painful, right? The conscious version of you wants you to take that step forward. It's also called the logic and the reasoning brain. This is the part of the brain that can look at things and go, well, logically, I know that's true, right? Logically, I know it's completely safe to switch to plant-based eating. Logically, I know it's not unsafe. Logically, I know my health will get better. Logically, I know that I'll be able to lose weight eating this way. And your unconscious brain is the one keeping you stuck, saying, but it's going to be painful, it's going to be hard, I can't do it. It's so frustrating, isn't it? Welcome to being a human being. You are not abnormal if this is what's going on for you. You are completely normal. You are human, and it's okay. I'm just highlighting to you what is going on inside that brain of yours. So it's not the circumstances in your life that are preventing you from taking action. How do I know that? Because two people can have exactly the same circumstances in their life. One can make it mean that that's a problem. The other one can make it mean, I don't care, I'm going to make that change anyway. And they get completely different results. They lead to taking different action. They get different results, right? So some actions for you to help you get out of this trying phase and help you start taking real action in your transition, in your health, in your life. Do a thought dump for me. On that piece of paper where you've got your CTFAR written down, go in and dump out all those T's, all those thoughts that are coming up, all the stories that you're telling yourself when you think about transitioning to plant-based eating. What is coming up for you? Listen to the stories. Like if you tell yourself, very next meal, I am having a whole food plant-based meal. You just tell yourself that. We're switching to whole food plant-based from the very next thing I put in my mouth. Then you can go and listen to what your brain comes up with. That's the easiest way to do it. Tell yourself you're making the change. Goodbye to everything else that you're eating. We're making the change as the very next mouthful that goes in my mouth. And then your brain will come up with a but, hang on, wait up, Listen to that stuff. Write that down. Write it down on paper. Now, don't judge it. Please do not judge it. We're not here to judge those thoughts. We're here to find out what they are. We're here to find out what the thoughts are that are keeping you stuck, that are stopping you from taking that action. They're just thoughts. Just thoughts. Your thoughts can't hurt you. Well, actually they can. If they lead to actions that deliver results that hurt you, they will hurt you. But the thoughts themselves, right? We just want to find what they are. And you ask yourself, does that thought make me feel good? When I look at that thought, does it make me feel expansive and open and excited to take this journey and like shift my life and achieve all the things? Or does it make me feel like contracted and scared and, terrified, in pain? Does it make me feel like, fearful? What's going on? Look at those thoughts and you can organize those thoughts for you. And look where you are placing most of your weight. Look at the actions that you've then taken in in your transition and look to see which thoughts drive which actions, right? Does that thought feel good and open and exciting and expansive, and like it makes you just want to change? It makes you feel ready and yeah, just like, yes, I'm going to do this. This is so cool. I'm so excited. Or does it make you feel like petrified, terrified, scared? Make you want to run away, hide, right? Right? If it doesn't make you feel excited and want to take action, then it's likely an unconscious thought, right? Thrown up by that unconscious brain. And, its goal is to stop you taking action. It's just your brain stopping you. And here's the beauty. Here's the beauty about being a human being. Here's the beauty about our brains. It's so cool. You get to decide what you want to think. I don't think a lot of us really know that. When I heard this concept, I thought, yeah, of course. And then I realized, hang on, am I really choosing my thoughts? Am I choosing this thought, or is it just an unconscious thought that keeps coming up? That choice, that voice that says, I can't, that's not me, this is hard. Huh. Do I want to think that? Is that helping me take the right action in my life? If not, I can change that thought. That's cool. How about I change it to I can? Yeah, I can and I will. I can do anything I want to in my life, and I will. I can achieve any goal that I want to in my life. It starts in here. Oh my God. So exciting, right? So you get to choose the thoughts that you want to think. If that thought doesn't make you feel good, oh my God, how about choosing some thoughts that make you feel good, that are also true, right? Look at the unconscious thoughts that are coming up and go, is that true? Is that thought really, really true? If I look at that with my logical, conscious mind, is that thought even true? That I can't do this? This is going to be hard. Hang on. Where's all the evidence around me that tells me this is not going to be hard? There's so many people in the world achieving amazing results, doing it with ease, right? If they can do it, I can too. There's evidence. I'm going to choose to believe that this is going to be easy for me. And if I tell myself over and over and over and over and reprogram my brain to believe that it's going to be easy, guess what my brain's going to filter in? All of the evidence that this is going to be easy, and it's going to feel easy. If I tell myself it's easy, I'm going to feel better, I'm going to feel motivated and inspired, and I'm going to take the action and I'm going to get the result. So instead of thinking, here's some thought shifts for you. Just a few biggies in case this might be you. Instead of thinking of this painful thought, which is, I'm going to miss out on all my favorite foods. I won't be able to eat all these meals again, all these things I love. I won't be able to go to my favorite restaurants. I won't be able to eat all the foods. You could think instead, I'm going to fuel my body for health. I'm so looking forward to experimenting with some new recipes, some new flavors, going to new restaurants. It's going to be an adventure. This is so cool. It'd be like exploring my own hometown like a tourist and seeing things from a different light. This is going to be so cool. You could also think, oh, that stuff I used to eat, that's not food. That's poison. It's poison to my body. And I love myself enough to stop poisoning myself, right? That's not food. I don't care if I never put it in my body again. I'm good with that. New thoughts. New thoughts that make you feel more motivated, more inspired, more willing to take action. Instead of thinking, I'm going to stand out in front of everyone. I'm going to be the odd one out in my friend group. I'll be the odd one out in my family. Everyone's going to tease me and ask me all the questions, and I don't want to stand out amongst people. Painful, painful, painful. How about thinking something like, well, here's a thought shift. You can adopt this if you like to. You don't have to, but here's some suggestions. I don't want to blend into the crowd anymore. Everybody else around me I can see is living unconsciously. They're making themselves sick and they're making themselves miserable, and I do not want to live like that. I do not want to be that person anymore. I'm choosing to live a conscious life instead. I'm choosing myself. I'm choosing to be happy. I'm choosing to be healthy because it's what I want for myself. If they don't want that, then that's okay. But I don't have to follow them. I don't have to be the same as them. Right? I don't have to do what everybody else is doing. If everybody else was jumping off a cliff, would I do the same? Here's another thought. Thought shift for you. I think I need water. I'm getting dry over here. Right. It's so hard when none of my family are on board. Oh my goodness, everyone else still wants to eat meat. It's going to be so hard cooking so many different meals, and it's going to be painful, 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 painful. Repeating that painful story to ourselves till it feels true. Here's a thought shift you could use. I love my family. I love them so much that I want to set a really good example for them. I want to show them what is possible. I want to live a long life so that I'm around for them, but I also want them to live a long, healthy life as well. I know I can't force them to do it, but if I'm an example, then hopefully they will see what's possible for them as well and be on board and want to live a long, healthy life as well. I want our family to thrive for generations to come without today's modern chronic diseases and weight problems. I want something different for myself and I want something different for my family. And I'm the one who needs to take action. Someone needs to go first, and it's going to be me because I want to be a leader. Right, just a different way to think about a situation. Those very different thoughts are going to have you taking very different action. One's going to motivate you and inspire you to take the action because it feels pleasurable on the other side and it feels painful to stay stuck. The other thoughts, the thoughts that are keeping you stuck, make it feel really pleasurable to stay where you are, stay stuck, and it makes it feel painful to move. But that's not the truth, right? You wouldn't be thinking about making a transition if you were comfortable where you are. You're not comfortable where you are. You want to make that move. So reframe your situation. Think about it differently. How can you rethink your situation, your circumstance in life? How can you rethink about it? The current situation is being painful, more painful, and think about what is on the other side of your transition as being exciting, motivating, challenging. Yes, but you can do challenging things. You can do hard things because it leads to great things. Those who are willing to put themselves through a little bit of challenge get to reap the results, right? Find some ways of thinking about your transition that help you feel motivated and inspired and energized enough to propel you forward to taking the action in your life. So we find those painful thoughts that are keeping you stuck. You ask yourself, is that the actual truth? Usually it isn't. Is there an alternative version of the truth that my brain is filtering out for me? How can I look at this situation differently? Right? How can I look at my situation, my current circumstance as being the painful situation, and change as being the pleasure instead of the other way around? All right? Are you with me? Are you with me? Beautiful. I hope that makes sense, folks. That is what's keeping you stuck in trying mode. And that is how you get out of trying and into doing. We find the thoughts that are keeping you stuck, that are making you feel terrible. And we shift those thoughts enough so that you feel more motivated and more inspired. And you keep telling yourself those new thoughts over and over and over. And when those terrible thoughts come up, when those painful thoughts come up, you don't sit there and believe them. You just say, hello. Hello, brain. Thank you for doing your job. I recognize what you're doing. You are just trying to keep me safe. It's okay. I recognize that. It's okay. But guess what? I know that I'm not safe staying here. I know that safety for me is on the other side of change. So guess what? I'm acknowledging my fear. I'm acknowledging all of the stories and the things that you are throwing up at me. That's okay, but I'm choosing not to believe them. I'm choosing to create new thoughts, new beliefs for myself, because that's what's truly going to motivate me to take action. Hope that makes sense, folks. If you've got any questions about that, please, oh, it's so good to see you watching. Awesome. Please, if you've got any questions about that, just drop it into the messages comments there, or send me a message. For any of you who may be really stuck and want to help, you want to get out of this doing, you want some help and some guidance and some support to keep taking action forward, to keep reassessing your brain as it wants to throw up all of the struggle and all of the painful thoughts that are coming up for you, and help you navigate around those situations so that you keep taking action. You keep taking the action in the right direction and you get the results that you want to get. I invite you, if we haven't had a conversation yet about my Plant Power Transition Program, 12-week program, we're looking to kick off after Easter. Yes, you can have your chocolate. I did that on purpose. Let's have a chat about the transition program. I want to help you. My mission in life is to help as many people become successfully plant-based. Why? Because this planet needs it. We need it for our health. Like, we need to get back to healthy eating as a human species. Like, the human species will not survive if we keep eating what we're eating. The planet will not survive if we keep eating what we're eating. Right? This is bigger than me. I just want to help as many people as possible, and I see so many struggling. So please, please, please don't sit in struggle street anymore. You don't have to. You can spend the next year of your life, in struggle street and making your health worse if you want to, or you can come and learn how to do it properly, learn how to do it, learn how to tackle all of these situations in life that throw track, or that potentially might throw you off track in future. Learn how to do it properly and learn how to do it the healthy way. Come and let me show you in 12 weeks. Get the support, the accountability, the group environment as well. We're going to do this as a group so that we've got some support. We've got accountability across several people, and we can all share recipes and wins and all sorts of stuff and help each other through problems. So please, 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 if you want to have a chat to me about that program, if you want to get help and support so that you can make your transition really quick and really seamless and easy, rather than flip-flopping around and staying in this state of feeling stuck, just come and see me. Just send me a direct message or put a comment. Say three broccoli emojis, that's my favorite, in the comments below, and I will reach out to you to have a chat. Okay. And if you've got any questions, don't forget, just either reach out to me or leave the comment in the chat. So do any of you have any questions for the moment? Hey, Cece, good to see you. Sandy. Hey, Penny, Tammy, Janine, of course, Kathy. I think I said hi to you guys. Nicole. Yes, great to see you all. If you've got any questions, please leave them below. I'll answer them now. I know there's a little bit of a delay between you and I because I'm streaming into the group. So I'll wait just a moment, see if any questions come up. Alrighty. Thank you, Janine. All right. Any questions? No more questions? A little bit hard to see. Such a delay. Okay, folks, I'll just make that assumption that there are no questions, and if you are busy typing, trying to get typing before I leave, don't worry, I'll see the comment and I'll come back to you. All right, for now. Oops. All right. Oh, Jennifer, yes, I saw you joined late. All righty, so yeah, no questions. You can always go back to the start. This video will remain in the group. I will be putting it under guides somewhere, but I will also pin it to the top of the group for the moment as well, so you can find it very, very easily. Oh, Jennifer has a question. Thank you. Oh, I'll wait. I will wait. Type it out. How are you all doing on this Friday? Friday evening in the US. It's a beautiful Saturday here in Melbourne. It's on 12 o'clock, midday, and the sky is perfect blue and not a cloud to be seen. Jennifer, are you typing your question? Wait for you. Okay. Jennifer, for foods that are considered to be eaten in moderation, I'm assuming that means how often should they be eaten? There is no rule. There is no rule. This depends completely on your body and who you are and your goals. They're only suggested to be eaten in moderation because they are higher in calorie density than the green light foods. So if your goal is to lose weight, moderation means, well, if I think about the proportion of green to red to light in my diet, and this is not scientific by any stretch of the imagination, this is just me approximating where I think my diet sits. I'm thinking my diet's probably about 70% green light, probably about 25% yellow light or orange light, and probably about 5% red. Now, the red accounts for times when I go out to eat, and I know that they'll be cooking with oils. I know that they'll be using white processed flours and stuff like that. So I'm still vegan, so I'm not eating animal products. But I do know that, when I particularly go out, I'm not so concerned about that. The 5% or so in my life just allows for a little bit of flexibility, a little bit of freedom. But yeah, the majority of what I eat is about 70%. I think the orange light's probably about 25%. That's a few wholemeal wraps. Tofu, love tofu or tempeh. That would be things like my almond milk that I make. What else sits in there? Some, condiments and things like that. A few nuts and seeds. So a little bit like that, just to really flesh out. There is no rhyme or reason. There is no like hard and fast rule. It all depends on who you are, what your goals are. These orange light foods are still healthy foods. If you are wanting to put on weight, for example, you would want to make sure that, if you're struggling to put on weight, eating a lot of green light foods, then you'd want to incorporate a few more orange light foods. But if your goal is to lose weight, then you want to eat those orange light foods very aware, like with consciousness. So it's not you would just need to feel into your body for what's working, basically. Hope that makes sense. Okay, beautiful evening in San Diego. I bet it is. I've never been to San Diego. I can't wait. I'm going to go there one day. Okay, thank you, people. Thank you for watching. This replay will be available in the group if you missed any of it and you want to rewatch it. Ciao for now. And don't forget, if you want to have a chat about the transition program, help you get there faster, help you get there with ease instead of, flip-flopping around in your mind and holding yourself back. Just think about the pleasure on the other side. Like, do you want to get to the end of 3 months? Think about the future you. What's the future you going to be proud? What decision is the future you going to be proud of? Is the future you going to be proud of the decision that you make to stay stuck? Or is the future you going to be proud of the decision that you made to get some help moving forward and make it quickly? So another thought to ponder as we leave. Okay, ciao for now, guys. Have a good one.